So, today we have a very special topic that we're going to be chatting about. I think it's probably the topic you are most passionate about.
Yep.
And that topic is James Watson.
Moi. Talk about moi.
The reason I think now is a good time to do it is multiple reasons. I think the podcast is changing. It's rebranding. It's going from everything sales to fearless entrepreneurship with James Watson.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, to get his name in there.
Just waiting 6 weeks on a logo.
Yeah. So we've changed it for a couple of reasons. I think the main thing being when we started this, it was just purely supposed to be everything sales and everything that kind of encompasses sales. Mm-hmm. But as we've done, I think this is our 9th episode, as we've done a few episodes now, we've realised that it's not just applicable to sales and it kind of encompasses everything else. And also you didn't want to be limited just to talk about things solely sales related, because you also do have other businesses and other sectors that we want to give some love to. Mm-hmm. So we've changed the name, we've rebranded. Podcasts are going to be a lot more often, opposed to once a month or every kind of 6 weeks. We're 1 a week, 2 a week sometimes if we're feeling exciting.
Yeah. I could do 1 a day if we had the time.
I know, but you don't have the time. That's
imagine just sitting and podcasting all day.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot to... It's not the content that's an issue.
Everybody sits and talks shit all day anyway. We get, imagine just having mics there and podcasting your life.
Yeah.
I suppose that's called a reality TV show, right?
Yeah. And I also think a lot of the stuff that we say we probably don't want recorded. A lot of that stuff shouldn't be on camera.
Censored.
So that is the reason for the rebrand. You'll see your face a lot more often, a lot more frequently, which is exciting. But I think this is in the perfect time to just get to know you a bit better. I think we've spoken about in other podcasts your experience in the sales industry, but like we said, there's so much more to what you do than just sales. So I think a good place to start is, obviously you've been your own boss since you were 23. That's when you kind of started, I guess, your career. Before that, everything you were doing was just jobs and trying to find the right fit for you. So what was it like before 23? What was your work life before you found your career?
How far back do you want to go?
First job?
First job?
Yeah.
Ooh. Left school at 15, went home thinking I was a smart Alec, as my mother used to call me. Told my dad very proudly that I was finished with school. And my dad looked at me and says, "You got 3 days to get a job or you're homeless." Mm-hmm. And I ended up with a job in a milk factory in Govan, which I had to get to at 6 o'clock in the morning from the north of Glasgow. So, I'd always done... that's first job after school.
Yeah.
I'd done a paper round when I was 11, ended up with 3 paper rounds when I was 11, ended up with a milk round. So I've always worked since I was old enough to make money. Always wanted to be a soldier. Became a soldier, had a kid, left being a soldier, come back. I worked in optics. I worked with Specsavers, Optical Express. I made glasses. I've cleaned drains. I've worked in a fish factory, chicken factory, milk factory. I worked in all sorts of different warehouses, picking and packing, ended up in construction. So right before I found sales, I call it career crisis age.
Yeah.
Which is, career crisis is somebody who's been in their working life, gets to kind of 22 to 24 and freaks out because they need a career and they realise maybe the job they were doing was just a job, or somebody leaves uni and they're freaking out because they need to find a career and when they move into the real world. So I started freaking out, as did my parents, because I kept changing jobs. And I don't like someone don't do it. I remember quitting a job at lunchtime because the manager was cheeky to me.
And you started that morning?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It was cheeky to me. I went home. My mum's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'll get another one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that much. It's been a long time since I looked for a job, but if you were willing to do manual labour when I was young, the only reason you were unemployed is because you were lazy.
Yeah.
So I could quit a job confidently knowing that it wouldn't be long for me to go find another job, right? And
you could pick one up quickly.
You weren't allowed to say about my mum's house and not work, right? My mum used to say, a job's not going to come and knock the door and kick me out, and they wouldn't let me sit in the house. So it's just, I got a work ethic and still. So done loads of jobs just trying to find the right thing. I got to a point where I was either going to go offshore or go back to the army. I'd phoned the army. They told me because I left I wasn't allowed back near the parachute regiment. I'd done all my tickets to go offshore. Both of them required me to go away 6 months a year. At that time I had a child. Well, at least my first child, one I'm bloody 5 now. But both required me to go away. One I was chasing money, one I was chasing happiness. Army was adventure, travel, development, teamwork, pushing yourself. That was a lot of kind of happy things that made me satisfied. And the entrepreneurship and offshore was just money. It was just, well, if I'm going to do a job that Disney offer me all the fun stuff that I enjoy, then I'll just go make loads of money and work. And in my head, I'm like, I work 6 months of the year offshore and spend the other 6 months trying to figure out what to do. And so I was always looking for the thing. And I remember telling my mum that the thing, she asked me where I was going to settle down. Because I'd done that at the time. She's like, where are you going to settle? And I says, when I find a job that I enjoy getting up for on a Monday morning, I promise I'll be good at it. I just don't know what that is, so I'm going to keep trying stuff until... I remember applying to everything, just looking for the thing for me. I think finding a job's like finding a partner. Finding a career's like finding a partner. So I done everything I could. I took a job in Specsavers 4 days after coming out of the army or coming away for training. Didn't go through full training, but... And I turn up to a job in optics, and it's only because it says no experience I applied. Ended up making glasses for a living for a couple of years. Realised the people that were at the top of the food chain in there weren't making the kind of money I aspired to make, nor was the job satisfying. So like, if you're not going to pay me a lot of money or as much money as I would like, because everybody's got a price, right? I'm willing to do a boring job if you pay me loads of money for it. Yeah. But, you know, see that, but ideally you want something that pays you loads of money and gives you fun and satisfaction and development. So yeah, I've done loads of manual labour stuff. I wasn't a job snob, didn't care about shifts, didn't care about days of work, I've done night shift, day shift, back shift, done 7 days, done 5 days, started at 6 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 10 at night. I've never turned my nose up. I gutted fish for 12 hours a night. Yeah. So anything that would pay me money at the end of the week to go out with my mates and pay the bills and feed the kids. You're in. I was, since I had a kid since I was 17, so a lot of my working life was spent making sure that kid could get fed. Yeah, no, 100%. I think offshore was probably the more expected option for you because that was what your dad did, so that was kind of, I guess, the expected route that you would go down. It's a backup plan. Yeah. It is a backup. It's a great life. I have lots of friends that work offshore. Talking to a boy the other morning in the gym actually what's offshore. Like, it's a good life. It's a good life. But the two things I wanted offshore, and I always remember resenting my dad a little bit growing up because every time I seemed to need him, he was in a rig somewhere. Those days you couldn't communicate as freely as you could communicate. I would have like one phone call back a day and there was no mobile phones and all that stuff. So at the time when I had a child, the only thing holding me back from them was being away from home. Actually, when I found sales, the thing I liked about sales is, and this might be a question I'm eating into, it offered me the opportunity to make the same money I was offshore. It gave me a lot of the same things that being in the forces would give me: risk, reward, teamwork, growth, development, pressure, albeit you're not going to die in sales, right? But it offered me all the stuff that I wanted that would give me fulfillment for a job, but offered me the finances that offshore would give me, and I didn't have to go away 6 months for the year, which was really one of the main reasons I chose sales over it. I get the best of both worlds. Well, best of both worlds with. And the added part was I could be home every night. Not that I was home every night, bloody, when I started in sales. I was probably home less. Yeah. Well, yeah. I was under this illusion I'd be home more, but I wasn't. You're in the city. You're around. Yeah, I was in the same country. Yeah. Love that. So we found sales. You really chucked yourself into it. Like you've just said, a lot of late nights, early mornings. It was something that you really kind of dedicated a lot of your life to. You learned everything that you needed to learn. You, I guess, kind of invested in yourself, developing yourself. You then started your own company. What did that first year look like of running your own company? First year running my own business, horrific. I was terrible. I wasn't ready and shouldn't have done it. Never made a coin. Yeah. I wasn't ready. It was fun. I enjoyed that. I had a great time. Learned loads of valuable lessons. I think the biggest lesson looking back is I was so desperate to have my name on a door and so desperate to say I run a company. It was egotistical. It wasn't. It's funny actually because the coach I had at the times like, you're not ready, and I argued with him and I got my own way inevitably and wish I didn't. Whatever. It's just a good job I'm resilient and I don't give up because I probably should have walked away that first time, but I never. Yeah. So yeah, wasn't ready. It was horrible. I still done a lot of the ground level. Starting out in business for anybody is difficult. I don't think you're ever really ready. I probably could have. I was lucky enough where I could have got more coaching, but I decided not to take it. So it's like taking your driving test before your instructor tells you you're ready, right? And then you crash your car and he's like, told you. So
Yeah, should have listened the first time.
You should listen to the person who knows better. But no, I don't know if I would change it, because I mean, a lot of who anybody is these days is because of all the things that happen, good or bad, right? Or what you deem good or bad at the time. So who knows? If it'd been a great year, maybe I got complacent. Bad year made me more determined. So who knows?
So when did it start to change then? When did you start to think, okay, I can have more confidence in running your company, but also kind of more success coming your way?
It was a long time ago. When did I start to have more I think confidence is trust in yourself, right? Confidence is trust. If I have confidence in you, if I have confidence that you'll ask the questions right, it means I trust you to do a good job, right? If I have confidence in myself doing something, it means I trust myself to do something. But real trust and real confidence comes from results. So I think just not quitting when things were bad and persisting until I got it right. So if I'm terrible, everybody was terrible at something at one point or another, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not you. I think you were just born making spreadsheets and doing interviews and whatever, right? Never imagine you've been terrible. But at one point, Lionel Messi was terrible at kicking a ball. At one point, Lewis Hamilton couldn't drive a go-kart. At some point, the driving instructor didn't know how to go through the gears, and so.
At one point, James Watson couldn't sell.
At one point, that was before I'd done sales. But anyway, yeah. No, but
yeah, you have to learn, don't you?
I've always been somebody who learned through doing. I've always been somebody who's stubborn to go, well, why would I read the book when I can just go do it and learn that way? I remember when I wanted responsibility for, recruiting people. And someone says, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, well, I'll learn quicker if you just give me people to recruit. Like, let me do that. I learned sales the same way. Get away to train me in sales, Katrina. And I says, just let me go talk to people and I'll figure it out and I'll go along and I'll phone you if I need you. I've always been that way. And unfortunately, that's really painful. So I think my personal confidence in business came through trial and error, through persistence. I think a lot of my confidence comes from being able not to quit when I feel like quitting. Like I just can't, I don't know how to. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't. I've also quit one thing I regret. I quitted when I quit the army. I mean, my life's turned out amazing and I'm glad I've done it because it would have went another way. But I remember what quitting something you really wanted to do felt like when it got hard, right? And I done it. So I suppose that made me not quit. So my confidence came from not quitting and then me figuring things out, and the confidence came from me not quitting, figuring things out, and then when the results come, then your confidence grows because you know that you're a person who done that. I didn't just get it. It's not like I just got it. It's not like it was really this. So confidence comes. I think the harder the task that you go through to accomplish the thing you're trying to accomplish, the bigger confidence boost that comes with it.
Yeah.
So my confidence still grows every year. I become more ambitious every year, but I'm no more ambitious because I feel like there's more money to go be made in the world. It's just my confidence goes up every year.
No, 100%.
And unfortunately, the years that are the most painful, the years my confidence goes up the most the next year because I managed to get through the year.
Yeah, you got through it.
Yeah, you don't get confident for just having a good time.
Yeah, no, definitely
Unfortunately.
not. Growth happens outside the comfort zones. That's what they say.
It's a quote for the socials.
So I think, obviously you did get very confident at it because you then went on coming on to what, 23 years, 22? How many years are we at?
45. I was just turned 23. This will be the end of my 22nd year.
So 22 years later, you're still running your own business in sales, still doing very well. In the last 22 years, you've not only expanded across the UK, you've expanded into Oz, you've expanded into America. You lived in Australia for a bit, running and setting up across there. So sales. Sales is pretty much easy to you can do it in your sleep at this point. Yeah, you still learn, but
so.
that's kind of something that.
I mean, if somebody's been doing something for 20 years, I hope.
Yeah. So I think that was your obsession. I think that was your world for a very long time. And then correct me if I'm wrong, sort of 2018 was maybe the first time you ventured into something outside of the world of sales that you know.
Yep.
And that business didn't go all too well. It ended up being shut down and it was a big valuable lesson from yourself. How do you see that period of life when that business was shut and that didn't go well? How do you see that period of your life and what did you learn from it?
Pain, suffering, lessons. Business didn't just fail. It cost me 80 odd grand. Didn't just fail. Failed miserably. I learned to lawyer up before I do something.
Good life lesson.
I remember having to get a lawyer, and she's like, "Next time, phone me before you start something. Don't phone me when it's already dealt with." And no, I'm already lawyered up in other businesses, and make sure they understand the industry I'm just about to get into before. So we're just about to start another business quite similar, and we lawyered up 2 weeks ago with somebody that specialises in the industry and the laws, and so we never broke a law. We just upset someone who, came and tried to squash us, which is fine. Yeah. Got a letter which I didn't think was real at first, but whatever. But it's funny, I remember when it all went bad, and I remember we're in the middle of lockdown. Everything was already, it was like kicking a dog when it's down. So it was painful lesson. Probably the second most painful lesson. The first, I think I spoke about in the podcast before, when I went, and even in the sales business, I got complacent. I lost everybody. So that was good for me, and in turn, this was never judge a situation when it happens, because what feels like the worst thing in the world sometimes might be the best thing. You break up with somebody, you feel like your life's over, and 6 weeks later you meet somebody 10 times better, right? So it's one of those scenarios where I look and go, it taught me a lot of lessons. I look at it as a good thing, not a bad thing. The more into business I get, and the more people I talk to who are further down the line in business and better at business, the more I realise that failing in business is really normal, and that
a rite
pain.
of passage.
And I feel like, I'm talking about, we lost 80 grand. We'd already invested 80 grand to get it up there, and then because it shut down, obviously we didn't make money. And the irony was, we just started turning a profit a year before we thought we'd turn a profit. So just at the height of excitement, we got crushed. But in the world of business, like losing a company or getting shut down or losing that amount of money in the world of business or big business is nothing. I now know that any real lesson that you're going to learn in life is going to cost you. Cost you pain, or cost you money, or cost you both. So, and I'm actually glad that happened, because we now have another business because of that. That made us go rethink what we were doing, and we decided not to stay in that route, but can I stay in that industry but go down a completely different route, and that's actually worked out a lot better. So even if that other business had still been here, functioning at a really high level, it still wouldn't have been as good as where we're at now with the business that was born because of that situation.
And you guys wouldn't be as good.
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't. So now I don't look back. I look back and I feel sick, because I remember the pain, like it's just horrible. And it's funny, because the boy I was in that business with, I still am, Harris, who's my business partner in digital media and e-com, we were sitting yesterday and something came up. We were going through Facebook Manager to set up a business account, and an old company came up, Prism Sports Essentials, and he was sitting laughing, and Harris looked at me and went, "How shite were we then?" And I'm like, "We were terrible." And he's like, "Dude, we didn't know what we were doing. Why did we even?" So when we look back at us then that started that business, we never had a clue what we were doing. We were just, this is a great idea, let's go start a company. No, I think it taught us to do diligence. I mean, I'm lawyering up saying a joke, but the more I read in people in business say what's one of your best hires, and they're like, lawyer up and get somebody that's good at finance before you do anything. And so but yeah, looking back, we were terrible, we weren't ready. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that happened. I think with how bad we were, how inexperienced we were, it would have happened inevitably at one point with that. It happened early, so that 80 grand could have been a couple of $100 grand. So that could have been a lot less. It nearly cost me worse. We managed to get good lawyers that negotiated the cost down. So
well, there you go. I think, from my perspective, from kind of watching everything over the last sort of 7 or so years, I think the pandemic really changed a lot in terms of how I perceive it. I think the pandemic changed a lot for you. I think the pandemic is when you became, I don't want to say proper entrepreneur, because that's not the case, but
you can say it. I'm not getting offended.
No, but
sales doesn't seem like a proper world or proper business sometimes.
But it's not just fluffy. That, because you do have entrepreneurs in sales, but I guess like you diversified, you went into various different sectors, and so since then you've opened 3 other businesses since then. What was the shift for you, and why did you decide to start all these other ventures? And we're going to go into them in the next kind of couple questions, but why did you decide to start putting your energy in other areas and going into fields that you didn't know about? I mean, you're an expert in sales, but why did you want to go into areas that you didn't know anything about?
A couple of reasons. First one is you won't get me twice.
Mm-hmm.
You won't get me twice. You'll not catch me with the same punch twice.
Yeah.
You'll not beat me twice.
What do you mean by that?
You just won't. Well, when we get locked in, I get my business whipped away from under my feet and they're uncontrollable. I had no income. I was losing £2,000 a week, and it's the first time. Well, I had to come up with other ideas. Hence this. I get caught sleeping.
Yeah.
I've not me yet. Nobody foreseen that. Nobody foreseen it. And once that happened once, like if you told anybody that we were going to get locked up because of a thing going about that was making people sick, nobody would have believed you, right? Mm-hmm. So when I realised there was something other controllable that could happen that was not within my control, then I'm like, all right, I need a backup. I got kids to feed, bills to pay, people to look at. I needed a backup.
So meaning your whole business revolved around people being face to face with customers, and that wasn't a thing anymore.
And it just wasn't a thing anymore. And so that was the first reason. Was I'm never going to get caught like that again. Ever again. So if we get locked up, now I have businesses where if you lock me in a room for the next 10 years, I'll be fine. Yeah. I won't mentally be fine, but business-wise, I'm great. I need a phone or a laptop and I'm good to go. Even the people we manage in our other businesses are remote. We don't, we don't have office space, we don't. So once it's a mistake, twice is a choice, or fool me once, you've heard all that stuff before. I'm not getting caught like that again. It was horrible because I wasn't in control and someone else. It's the first time in years someone else dictated whether I could work or not. Yeah. That's the first time where I went, all right, a wee bit scared, and everybody was. And we got through it and we had a good time and we navigated it, but I'm like, I can get through it better the next time if I do X, Y, and Z. So that was the first reason. The second reason was COVID was actually really good for me because I'd wanted to get into these industries for a while. And that was again, you think something's a bad thing, but it turned out if COVID hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been in these other industries. Yeah. There still would have been things I'd like to get into and wee ideas in my head. So yeah.
But nothing to give you that final push to kind of do it.
Yeah, and I'm in digital media and I don't know. I look at the online, the roles of the businesses, everything's sales. Hence why we call it everything sales as well, right? Everything is selling. Every business on the planet sells a product or a service. So even though it's in a different sector or a different way of doing it, to me, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm getting people excited about buying products and services or helping other companies increase the sales for their products and services in some way, shape or form, right? By building a landing page, a homepage, a full website, a sales funnel for somebody for online, or even doing it for myself in e-com. So even though it seems like I'm in different industries, to me, it's still, all right, how do I take this product to market or this service to market and get attention and build value and get people to take action and sign contracts or spend money? So I'm doing the same thing online as I was doing offline. So to answer the question again, first reason I got involved was it was a backup plan in case lockdown ever happened again. It means not only could I look after myself work-wise and take care of my family, but the people that work with me, I could get them all in doing something for me from home as well quite quickly. And the second was just interest. I don't think the digital world's going to replace much. I don't think what I do offline is ever going to be replaced online. I don't think it is. The human element's never going to go away. But I'm also smart enough to know that the digital world's going to be a forever business. So why not get involved? Again, I was interested in it. When lockdown happened, I became very committed. And then after a while, I became very, very obsessed by it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the more and more time going on and the more and more you're learning about it, all these different industries, the more and more you become obsessed, which I think is very interesting to watch. But how did it feel going into all these different, and as I said, we're going to go into them, but these different kind of sectors and these different industries, being the newbie again, being the person that, I mean, you've come from 20 prior years of being the expert in the room and knowing everything about sales and can do it in your sleep and can run sales teams and you're in a position where you know nothing. How does that feel?
Love it.
Or how did that feel?
I like it. I really like it. I like being a new person. I joined the football team when I was in Sydney, and I joined an over 35s team, and I think I was 36. And the average age of the team was 40 to 55. And it'd been the first time for a long time I was the least experienced person at a group of people. And that's when I realised it was really nice, because I was always the person for a long time in my career anyway. I've been the person who everybody came to me for answers. I learned, but I had to go self-learn and do this. I didn't just learn by turning up to do my job. So that, going back to that football team, like I never left training on a Tuesday. I never left a game on a Friday without learning more about life.
Yeah.
And that's when I realised that I liked being the least experienced person of the group, because what got me excited when I first started sales was I was learning something new. So I like getting into new industries. One, I really enjoy challenge. I hate being comfortable. I'm not saying I know everything in sales, right? I'm still challenged. Of course I'm still challenged, but I don't know, I get bored very easily. So I really enjoy the challenge. I thoroughly enjoy the learning. I couldn't scroll. I didn't know that computers you could. I'm going to confess to something here. Like 4 years ago, I didn't know you could put 2 fingers to scroll.
Blew your mind.
Yeah, and I didn't understand what a Facebook ad was, or any of the jargon online, or even ROAS. So I really enjoy. Again, it's the confidence I enjoy when you learn something. When you turn up to work, or you turn up, whether you run a business or work for someone else, when you turn up and you know more when you go home at night than you did in the morning. Get a dopamine. You go home more confident than you turned up that day. That for me is fulfillment. I mean, money will follow eventually. Money's definitely a huge part of everything, but I don't know. I just feel fulfilled when I get a wee bit smarter. I just go, if I go do a day's graft in anything, whether I'm new or experienced or whatever, and go home better than I started the day, I feel satisfied that I've done something constructive that day and move forward. So these getting into these other businesses was exciting, really exciting. I mean, one for a learning point of view, but 2, if you can nail it, then the world's your oyster.
Yeah, no, an opportunity point of view. So I think the second one after your venture into sales, the second one you went into was a digital media business, converting like crazy.
Yep.
So that's been going for
check out the website.
4 years. How long's that been a thing now? 4 years?
No, 3 years.
3 years.
3 years in the digital media world.
So that was a whole new industry for you. A lot of learning. I think this is somebody who, like I said, the 2-finger scroll on a laptop was not something you knew about. So not even that you didn't know about digital media, you didn't know about
these guys remind me all the time.
Tech of anything.
When I can type with all my fingers.
You used to type like this.
I used to S. No
and you would like copy and paste. Like, how did you do that?
Even on a Greek keyboard, I'm half decent.
But so that's been a lot to learn for you, but not away from the tech side and away from learning using a laptop. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned on that journey with Convert Like Crazy? What's your biggest lesson so far?
You want the honest answer? A lot of people are in business for the wrong reasons. I'm super excited about growth, right?
Yeah.
Super ambitious. If somebody's making 100 grand a month, I'm excited because I'm like, if we 10x that's $1 million a month.
Yeah.
And if you're making $1 million, that's I'm always like the next step. I thought that was everybody who went into business was into business because they were super ambitious and they wanted continuing growth.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that that's not everybody's reason. Some people are in business just to tell everybody they're in business. Make the same money as they would working for someone else. They just want to say, they want to hand out the business card.
They want to be an entrepreneur.
They just want to say I run my own company. That's what I realised. Some people are in it because they're egotistical and want the power. Some people are in it because they can hang about with their family and work from home and make a wage, which is fine. And then not very few. There's a bunch that are in it because they're in it because they want to continuously grow. So I just generally thought up until, because all the business owners I had now to that point were all super ambitious people. And so I learned there's people who are in business for different types of reasons. I learned that just making money in business or seeing somebody's money. So even for taking on clients' point of view, right? We in the beginning we'd just take work in because it was money. But that was because we were taking in just for money. It was also detrimental because we were working with people that weren't our tribe. We were working with products that we didn't, we don't feel like added as much value as we would like. So I think I've also learned that regardless of business you've in, your happiness and you feeling good about the people you're talking day to day and what you're actually doing day to day actually matters. So your mental well-being. So now we only work with clients that we call them our tribe. We'll only work with clients that we feel like we could go on with. I think there has to be some form of, you don't have to be friends, but there have to be people in the same wavelength. and we only deal with clients that are super ambitious. So if someone's like not wanting to grow, like if we care more about someone's business than they do, I can't do business with them.
Yeah.
If I'm more excited about you making 100 grand a month than you are, I can't work with you.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
We're actually in business with people that are way bigger and way more ambitious than us, which is great. And we only work with products that we feel add value to other people's lives.
Yeah, and you've always said if you wouldn't let your gran or your mum use it, then it's not for you.
Yeah, the sales point of view, but in e-commerce now, the clients we work with are actually making people's lives better. It's not, and now we're just genuinely only looking for clients, and if we don't feel like you are making people's lives better from a lot of us, we'll get into health in a while, but if you're not adding value to people, then we won't really believe in your product and your cause. And yeah, so I've learned that not everybody's in business the same. I've also learned that just having loads of work with loads of money doesn't equal happiness in a business. Because we ran a company at times we were bringing a lot of money in, but we weren't happy and we were really stressed out. But as soon as you start working with the right people and you're doing something you feel like is meaningful, not only are you happy, but funnily enough, the money starts to get a wee bit better after that as well. So I realised that you're regardless of industry you go into, I always thought sales, you just had to be positive and work with the right people. But now I just realised that's just business.
And have you seen a lot of similarities between making a shift from, face-to-face, in person, that being everything that you dealt with, to online and everything being online? Is there a lot that is still very similar in the two worlds, or are they completely different? No,
you're still communicating a message to somebody and building value in a product or service. I think what you would say verbally, somebody face-to-face, you can put digitally. You can do that and get the message across. You actually have to be a wee bit smarter online. You have to be more resilient face-to-face, but you have to be a wee bit of a higher sales IQ online, because offline, when you're dealing face-to-face and somebody gives you an objection, you can give them a rebuttal and you can come back and negotiate. Online, you've got to preempt that. You got to think about all the reasons why someone would buy and won't buy, and then you've got to construct a message that tackles both of them before they even say hi to somebody. So it has its own challenges, but human buying habits are the same online as they are offline.
True.
The excuses are the same, the reasons why they buy or don't buy are the same, and having social proof's the same. We live in a trust recession, so building trust is the same. People don't trust anything. Online's really good, but it's caused a lot of mistrust in humanity. So, you go to someone's door and door to door, or you're standing in a shopping centre, or you walk into a business cold call, and everybody has this stigma of salespeople and they're dodgy and they're all scam artists and sounds too good to be true, etc. But online has the same obstacles to overcome as it's selling.
Yeah.
So and if I'm trying to sell you, I don't know, a product that makes you not bloat as a lady online, it's no different trying to get that message and product across to you there, unless I walked into your salon and tried to sell it to you.
I also think it's quite interesting the effect that it's had on your sales business, though, because having the knowledge that you've gained from the online world, now you bring it a lot into the world of sales, and you're a kind of in-person world, I guess. And even when we've gone to like recruitment drives and we've been writing adverts, you've been like, change this or say this or use this phrase, or because you start to understand a person's psychology on a different level. I think the psychology of a person face-to-face selling is very different to when they're sat at home on their phone. It's a very different kind of psychological game. So I think it helps. They've helped each other, although they're two very different businesses. I think they've helped each other massively, and both businesses have been better because of the other one.
Online made me a wee bit smarter and understand people and buying habits, and it's made me understand people on a much deeper level, because you have to be in front of things which you can then, you don't always have to wait for the customer to get an objection and face-to-face stuff. You can be smarter and be upfront. So I think it definitely helps, and the face-to-face stuff's definitely helped the online stuff, because when we're writing anything for face-to-face or thinking about it, I just imagine that, online, just imagine I'm talking to you and, what would I say? How would I put this across, and what tone would I use, and all this stuff. So again, quite similar, but both bring different challenges.
And then the next business that you have is a coaching business. This, I think, was the most natural second or third business to go into after your kind of sales one, because your role largely within the sales company now is to coach people kind of coming through and stuff. So it seemed like the most natural progression. I think the thing that's been different is you've started to go outside of the world of sales. You've learnt that what you learn in entrepreneurship isn't really just relevant to sales. It's relevant to many entrepreneurs because it's never really the nitty gritty of the business that people need help with. It's their mindset, it's their mentality, it's their perspective, it's all that sort of stuff that I think people need a lot of coaching with. So you ventured into that a lot more recently. In the beginning, I hope you don't mind me saying, I know you had a bit of imposter syndrome with it, and I think in the beginning you were very, would anyone want to hear what I would have to say? I think you were. So
I've not been in socials for years.
You doubted yourself quite a bit in the start. But why did you decide to kind of override that and push past that? And what inspired you to really want to pursue the coaching business?
First of all, that's why I stayed away from socials, and didn't do socials. And my circle and my world, obviously I know a lot because that's with experience. But I've never got above myself and thought that, I don't know, I'm confident, super confident, but I was confident in my world.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that was transferable to everybody else's world. Where did they get the confidence from coaching? I think one, even dealing with clients, and clients that were doing well and realised even just sitting talking to potential clients in the digital media world and talk about their stresses and their frustrations and watch how terrible they are at, mentally being strong, and sit and thinking, I could actually teach you how to be a better entrepreneur. And I'm starting to realise that entrepreneurship was entrepreneurship. Everybody deals with the same negatives. Everybody deals with their head. Everybody has imposter syndrome and confidence issues, and everybody deals with stress, and everybody has life. So I think over time of dealing with people, first of all, I realised that I probably could add some value to people because of the stuff that I'd been through, and all I'm doing is sharing value. People have told me to go on social media for years and put my information out there, and I haven't. I've stayed away from it, and I think a big reason for why I coach people outside is when I do social media and some of the positive feedback I'm getting back for it. It made me cringe. I never want to be that guy that can brag that they can fix everything, or be the guy that says, these people online that say, I'll teach you to make 10 grand. I could help people make more money, but I never wanted to come across like that. So I never wanted to be a certain person, but also I did struggle with who would want to hear what I've got to say. So going on social media and putting things out there, and people coming back. I've had strangers come to me. I've had people I know come to me. I've had people more successful than me that I look up to come to me and say that the stuff I say makes sense and helps. And so every time I get a wee bit more of that feedback, I get a wee bit more confidence. And I know what I'm saying is true. Yeah. I know what I'm saying works. But I just don't know if anybody wanted to hear it, or they would just watch it and think it's just another guy on there talking crap and telling war stories, and maybe read one book and started talking. So I think over time my confidence grows. My goal was always to be a speaker eventually. I'd like to go, I love teaching. I love the sound of my own voice, but I'm not going to say helping, because it's no helping a voluntary type of way where I want to go save humanity or anything like that. But I like taking somebody who knows nothing. I like someone's face when they learn something new. I love someone's buzz when they apply something and it helps them, and watching them grow. There's something really nice with that. Something really nice with watching. It's like watching your kid take steps and watch. Yeah. It's no different from watching your kids grow and have the wee moments of clarity and the wee moments of, when the baby walks the first time and realises it can walk. You've not experienced that yet, but there's no better way. You see I'm doing it. But even for me, teaching people and helping people and adding some value, real value. But that's probably where I was least confident, because I'm like, am I actually going to, is it real value? Is it actually going to help people? So I think over time, realising that the information I have and the experience I have can help other people who are in sales or entrepreneurship or just life. Because a big part of when you're managing salespeople, you're managing their mentality. So if you're managing mentality, you're teaching them how to manage life and work. It's not just I'm not just managing them to do a job. So there's a lot of life coaching goes on there, a lot of routines and before and afters, and managing relationships and managing headspace and managing time and managing energy and all this stuff. And everybody deals with that. So as time goes on, I'm starting to realise that maybe I can actually add some value to people, and it's not just the world I'm in. But I suppose if you worked in finance your whole life, you probably would think that your information is good for people in finance, but if you're managing a bunch of people and leading and training, it is transferable. But I'm quite sure that you would have a wee bit imposter syndrome trying to get with your circle. I'm sure everybody, I would think, a lot of people that go online and put themselves out there or want to be a coach maybe have this wee thought, can I actually help people? And the more people I coach out with, the more results and the confidence will grow.
Yeah.
I enjoy it though. I love it. I really like developing people. So that was a natural path for me.
And what do you think? I think this question is going to make you really uncomfortable because you're not going to like it. But what do you think is your biggest strength being a coach? Why? What do you think is something, or where do you feel like you can bring the most value, or what do you think is your biggest strength? Because there's a million coaches online and they all have different approaches and different kind of areas that they're really good at. What do you think is the thing that makes you different? Mental toughness.
I think I teach people how to manage their heads very well. I think I'm really good at doing that. I mean, I'm good at lots of things. It's hard to pick what I'm the best at. I think I'm really good at simplifying things. I'm really good at communicating information so people understand it at their level. But I think if I was to pick one that I think I'm really, and again, this comes for sales. Salespeople, you got to teach them to be resilient and mentally tough. I mean, it goes without saying. So I think I'm really good at teaching people how to manage themselves and manage their headspace and get the best at themselves. That was a lot of stuff, but yeah, I would say that.
From watching, again, from the sidelines and from my perspective, it's nice to see that I think every conversation I've had with you about it, and you do these kind of, I guess, an information gathering and initial Zoom to see if it's the right fit for you and also for the person. And whenever we've spoken about it afterwards, it's always been a case of it's never been a sales pitch, or you've never tried to sell yourself to them, or you've never tried to actively make them a client. It's just more so, is it genuinely in their best interest, and is it genuinely something, am I the person that can help them? Because you've admitted yourself you're not going to be for everybody.
Nope.
People need different approaches or like different styles. So I think you're very open with people and you're very honest to say, like, this is what I can do. If it's not me that can do that for you, that is not a problem. Like, good luck. There's no hard feelings. Again, it's finding your tribe, and you have to be the right person for people.
Yeah, I'd never take money off someone if I didn't feel they were going to give more value than I took money off them.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think my job, even as a coach, even when I am coaching somebody, is to find them the best route to get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not me.
Yeah.
Sometimes me being a good coach is telling somebody, I'm not the best coach for you, you should go get coached off that person. That's it. But I can't in good conscience take somebody's money if I don't think they need me. I don't like leading people up. But I mean, many industries are full of people that promise the world and deliver nothing, right? Digital media world's like that. Sales world is like that. I'm at all the worlds I'm in are like that. E-com's like that. You promise you the world with a product and you get it and it's crap, right? So I just never wanted to be that. I never have been that person in the sales world, and I just never morally go to sleep knowing that, I'm taking money off you but not delivering.
Yeah.
So if I don't feel like I mean, some people that want coach don't even need coach. They need to do the basics, which is just pick up a book first and start reading long before, before you ever pay someone to coach you.
Yeah.
So now I could just never morally take somebody's money off them at all if I didn't feel like I was going to add any real value to them. So, maybe the person thinks they need coaching and they don't. Maybe I don't think we're a match. Maybe I think the things they need are not the best things that I am at teaching. So if I don't feel like, even these questions, when you go ask me these questions, if I don't think I can confidently answer some of this stuff and confidently add some value, I won't answer the question, because I don't know. Why would you listen to somebody if they didn't add value?
Yeah.
Why would you pay someone if they didn't add value?
Yeah, very true. So then we get to your most recent venture, and I would say probably to date your biggest passion project. I think it's something that you get very excited about whenever you talk about it. Your eyes light up, and there's a different energy, I think, when you talk about this, and that's Beyond Human. And I think the best way to summarize that would be a wellness brand.
Yeah, health and wellness brand, yeah. But not as people think.
Yeah. So this has been...
I'm not going to sell you protein shakes and creatine.
No. But this, I think, from my perspective, the reason this has maybe been a big passion project is because this business has come from business mimicking life. You know, in the last kind of couple of years, you've gone on a real health and longevity and wellness kind of path. You've wanted to really kind of be the best version that you can be, and you've got a health coach. You do all these things, and I would say, changed your life in a lot of ways. And you do all your grounding and your breath work.
Oh, my happy stuff. Ice bath.
Yeah, so you
grounding.
do all of this sort of
My
stuff.
son told me grounding was false the other day.
But you do all of this stuff, and I think this is where Beyond Human has come from. It's because it's something that you've become very passionate about, and it's something that you've realised where there's a hole in a market. You've realised that I wish there was one place that I could get or go to be educated, to have all these things kind of at a readiness. So I think you've kind of found a hole in your market, and you're thinking, if I'm the customer, what would I want? But from our perspective, tell us about Beyond Human. It's still very new. It's still pretty much in its infancy, but what do you see for its future?
It's something I'll never not do when I start it. We've set up the company. We're still... We actually changed a product yesterday. We found better products than the ones we were going to start with. So, I mean, we'll do many things over time, and we found something better. Beyond Human, people that own the brand are my health coach, my business partner, Harris, and me. And it's... this is going to sound really cheesy. It's a bit of a movement. I never thought I'd talk like this. I never thought I'd say this. It's a bit of a peaceful protest. A peaceful protest to how unhealthy people are. And the average person walks about at 55% energy levels. That most people never walk about feeling great all the time. Most on the planet. And so when I went in this health kick over the past couple of years, I've really went down a rabbit hole of education of, you know, the food I eat and the water I drink. I'm not saying water's bad, poisons you, food's bad, none of that stuff. So I'm not saying you're being poisoned.
Yeah.
But it's not designed to help either. And so a lot of the things that have happened to me, so I started thinking about longevity, right? The average person lives until they're 84 years old in the UK. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You work till you're 65, you retire, then you get what? What's the math on that? 19 years? So you do all that work, you work for your, let's just say 15 years old, and you take a part-time job, or even say 16, that's 50 years you work, but you get 19 years back of freedom for it. And I'm like, all right, and I started looking into, you know, when people live long and over 100, how many people, and realised there was a very small amount of humans live past 100. Also discovered that, you know, there's loads of these wee blue zones where majority of people live past 100 and it's they're healthy and they live a functional. Because a lot of people think 100, I don't want to grow to 100. You hear this a lot with people. Oh, I don't want to get to that age because you're old and frail. And I've started researching into, well, how do you get to that age but still be functional? And there is people all around the world who do it. And they've now discovered that the human body can do 130 plus. Some of them are talking about 200. A guy called Brian Johnston, if he stays in the same trajectory, they say he'll live to 200. And so I started realising that if you took care of yourself, one, you could live a better life because you can function at a higher energy level and feel good all the time, not just on a Friday night when you have a drink, right? And but two, you can grow old and still have a good life at the same time. So when I started realising that, I got a health coach who educated me a lot on it. We didn't go on a diet, we just changed the type of food. We changed the supplements, you know, no creatine, protein and, you know, all the stuff, that normal stuff, but we started taking things that actually help my body. And we talked about being healthy for the inside out. So he says to me, I'm going to make you ripped, but I'm going to rip you for the inside out, James. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because you might look fit and healthy, but what does it look like inside? And I started thinking about it. But when we started making all these changes, and at 44 years old or 45 years old, at the energy levels I had when I was 23, probably more. Function at a very high level. I find that I need less sleep now than I used to need. I've got more energy over a longer period of time. I train more than I've been able to train before and started, wait a minute, and I realised this. But then it started making my view on things a wee bit different. I started to look at people and go, it's not your fault if you're unhealthy or you don't have any energy. You just don't have an education. You only know what you know. How am I supposed to know how bad something is for me, or there's an alternative? How am I supposed to understand all that stuff? So Beyond Human, as you can tell, we're quite passionate. The whole idea of the name of Beyond Human, as my health coach used to send me in the morning, because we focused a lot on how I felt. So we weren't focusing in the beginning about how I looked. It was nothing to do with weight. I didn't do a scale with him for a year and a half.
Yeah.
There was no weight, there was no macro tracking, all the usual stuff a PT would do with you, right? Your weight, your macros, all there was none of that stuff. He just messaged me, where's your energy levels at? How do you feel? After training, how do you feel? Do you go do your training and still have all this good energy? And I remember getting to the point where I kept saying to him, superhuman, King Kong's got nothing in me. And I'd be like doing workouts, and after my workout I'd be like, I'm just got this mad rush. I'm just so energy.
Do it again, yeah.
I just want to run. Sometimes I'd message him like, I just want to run through some walls. And I was just this, but it was natural. I hadn't taken any supplements that boosted my energy. I wasn't in Red Bulls. I wasn't in pre-workouts. It was this natural buzz and natural energy that I had. And then when you get that, I'm like, I feel a wee bit beyond normal, which is where Beyond Human comes from. We were going to go for Superhuman as a name. Well, that sounds a wee bit marvelly and cheesy. And like, how do we talk about the feeling that you get when you actually do that? Like an ice bath, the dopamine and all the satisfaction, believe it or not, grounding does the same thing, and there's no inflammation. When you take all the inflammation out of your body and the insides of your tube, it's like an engine. The outside, we all focus on the outside like a sexy car. But if the engine's not running properly, it's not nice to drive.
Pointless.
So how do you get, and again, forget aesthetically and looking, how do you get the engine running at 100% capacity? And you can even get things done to an engine where it makes it go more than it can, actually, like mapping, where it goes a wee bit faster, and they fine tune things and make it so. How do you get to the point where you feel beyond human all the time, where you just naturally have this dopamine and buzzing? I'm way more productive. I'm a better dad. I'm a better husband because I have all this good, I say good energy because it's good buzz, it's good positive energy. Stuff like fasting, cold water, supplementation, the foods you eat, all this stuff. But until I get the education and understood the difference between good and bad, and not only somebody telling me to take something, but why should I take it and how does that affect me inside? So as you can tell, Beyond Human comes from a passion. I want to share that experience with people. And as you start to become more aware and start to look around, you just realise that a lot of people are maybe healthy and functioning, but not functioning. Again, they're walking about functioning at 55% capacity. So generally want to help people lead a healthier, happy, longer, more fulfilling life. And I've even thought about doing Beyond Human. Yeah, we'll make money. Of course we will. It's not the passion behind it. As we say, we get excited about it. I think it's the first time in my life where I've went and doing something purely because we want to help. Money will come from it, relationships will come from it, collaborations will come from it. There'll be loads of things come from it which are very positive, and you know. But I think we're actually talking with Aris, who's my health coach, the other day, and he says a wee phrase to me which I think we're actually going to use. He says, "We'll make the world healthier one person at a time, buddy." And I'm like, yeah, we will. And so there's a bit of passion there. And we don't, you know, we're not past our first couple of products. We'll do loads of product development, but everything is going to be geared towards how do we make an average person feel above average all the time. But a big part of that isn't selling them products. A big part of Beyond Human is going to be educating. And if you're part of the Beyond Human community, you will get an education, which I pay a lot of money for. Do you know what I mean? This guy Aris I'm talking about, like, I'm like, you need to share your information with the world.
Because it's, you know, before you started working with Aris and before you kind of went down this path, I would have said you were a healthy person. You went to the gym every single morning before you were in the office. You spent every morning in the gym. You ate healthy. Like, yeah, you would have some cake you would have a bit of cake, or you would have some drinks, but
some drinks.
You would do one night a week drinking, you know, or you would have some cake at the weekend or whatever. I wouldn't have ever said, since I've known you, I would never have said you were an unhealthy person. But all these changes that you've made, haven't been, you know, you'd really have to dig and really have to research to find out a lot of this stuff. It's not massively readily available.
No, because it goes against the grain.
Yeah, but also it's not, it's all the you're so trained to think if you eat well and you work out, you're fine. And I think that's what the education's going to help explain to people, of all these other things that you don't realize, these other tweaks that you could do, that none of them seem big, but when you add them all together, they can change your life. Yeah,
it's not one thing's going to determine like a huge energy surge. And even things like, you know, we're all hormonal, we have hormones, and the amount of things that I now understand affect your hormones levels and your mood. You know, the weather affects your mood. We live in Scotland, we know that. It gets to winter and everybody gets miserable. That's not because Scottish people are miserable, that's just because no sunlight actually makes you a wee bit more miserable. Where was I going with that? I lost my bloody chain of thought. Yeah, so figuring out all these things, we live in a world that's full of, and again, I've not got a tin hat on here, but you know, all these things going through the air and walking about in your phone, everybody knows is affecting you in some way, shape or form, because all these, I don't know, all these energy fields that are going all the time everywhere and fumes, of course it's affecting us, and not in a huge capacity, we're all going to bloody die next week, but it's learning things to counter that. You don't realise, like you say, all the wee things that can contribute towards you being healthy. There's loads of wee things that contribute to you being unhealthy. And so I think something to point out since I started, I've not been sick since I started working with him, because it's like the way he explained to me, he's like, your immune system just now's got soldiers that are kind of, you know, they've done some basic training, they're physically fit. Yeah, they've passed out. He's like, when you turn your immune system into special forces, unfuckable. He's like, with that high energy, an unfuckable immune system means you're going to operate at a high level all the time. And for me, the venture wasn't about getting healthy. It was how do I keep working as hard as I can work? How do I keep training as hard as I train? How do I keep having energy for my kids and my wife as I'm getting older? And naturally, as you get older, your energy depletes. So for me, I was trying to fight time a little bit in the beginning. But now I'm like, you know, wow, I wish somebody had taught me this in my 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go.
No.
I was going to say I had the energy in my 20s, but if someone had, I don't know if I would have listened, but if someone had got me to listen and just gave me an education on that stuff, I definitely would have been a much, you say I seemed healthy, but I think there's levels of health. I think, again, that internal thing. I think if you just eat meat and, you know, vegetables and go to the gym, you are healthy, but there's levels of health. And for me, I started, when I get to, the reason why I started going down this rabbit hole, a couple of years ago, as I had a mate that dropped dead in a football pitch because he's hurt. I have other people around me starting to get really sick. I mean, a lot of older people I knew were naturally getting sick. But I think when you hit 40, you start to think about your ticker going too fast and all these wee things that can happen. And a lot of people feel like you maybe start deteriorating after that age, right? And so for me, again, I just panicked a wee bit. And I'm like, all right, how do I stop myself? Maybe it's the kids. Maybe it's just probably the kids just want to watch the kids grow up. But I started thinking, oh, wait a minute, how do I make sure that I don't get sick? Yeah, just like anybody, I'm petrified of being really sick, petrified of not being in control. Death's going to come, 100%. I'd rather postpone it for as long as humanly possible. But again, at a high functioning level. This is the point of being 84 years old and not being able to walk. Yeah. What's the point? I don't see the point. Yeah, because when I say to people, I want to live to 130, they're like, oh, that'd be horrible, and you'd be in, yeah, because you're looking at the wrong 100-year-old. You go look at these blue zones around the world and look at the 100-year-old, still highly functioning human beings. I see guys in the gym that I go to that are 7 years old doing HIIT training and a running machine. I'm like, I want to be that guy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I was inspired by seeing other people, but again, and you know, I want to live a long, prosperous, healthy life. In my head, before all that stuff, I never knew that was possible. I just thought you got to 65 and deteriorated, and the average person lived to 84, and if you got to 90, you were a G, and past 90, you were deteriorating, and what was the point? And it was all luck. It was all just based on if you were lucky to get there. Just, genetics. And now I'm starting to see there is a certain degree of that stuff, but there's a lot of things you can do to counter that. Just like if you take care of a car can last a couple of 100 years if someone took care of it. So if you take care of you see cars on the road now that were made 60 years ago, and they're brand new and shiny, and I guarantee the engines are lovely. Why are they lovely? Because someone actually looked after it. Yeah. So I look at my body like an engine. I look at my brain like the computer, and if I look after my brain and look after the engine and make the body work nice, then I'll be good. Definitely a passion project, like I said. But I think that's really important. I think it's really important to have something that you're really excited about, and something that I think that's probably the one business that you will forever be very heavily involved in, and you'll forever be very heavily just as passionate about, because I think it'll also grow as you grow, and as you go on your health journey, I think it'll also kind of grow with you, which I think is really lovely to have a company that can do that. But I think as you've
as you've grown and as you've opened more and more businesses, I think I've seen a massive difference in you. I always tell you in this last year, I think the way you've leveled up is like insane. The last, I guess, even 6 months, you found yourself in circles or in situations that you're like, what am I doing here? Like you've, especially in the last few months, you've really kind of, leveled up, I guess is the only way to kind of explain it. And it's been nice to watch that every year it seems to get quicker and quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But only recently in the last 6 months, have you felt uncomfortable being at that level? And maybe not uncomfortable, you felt out of your comfort zone. You feel again like an imposter. You feel like, again, I shouldn't be here.
Sitting planning growth on the digital media just a year, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah. But just, being invited to events and the people that are reaching out to you and the people that even you're doing business with, especially in the digital media business, the net worth that some of these people have and the goals that they have has definitely made you uncomfortable, I think, in the last few months, because you've realised that you're playing in a very different ball game now. But how do you view that levelling up, and what are you excited about when it comes to that?
Levelling up? I'm excited about that. I only read for education, and I find myself reading a lot right now. I like when I don't know what I'm doing. I like my back against the wall. I like the pressure. I actually got... I don't know if this is going to come across. I get off on it. I think it's great. I love I love shit myself. Richard Branson, it's one of my heroes, idols. He's like, just take on an opportunity and figure it out as you go along. I was always scared to take opportunities in case I didn't know what I'm doing and waiting to be ready for stuff. And then I'm like, let's just go for it. So I like when I'm in a position where I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, because it forces change and it forces growth. I've read more books in the past 3 months than I did the previous 14. Because I need to read books on stuff, and I need to level up. I find myself watching people's content, learning, where I used to scroll past some content with people I didn't know. Like, now I'm going on and going, all right, how do I do this, and how do I do my job better? And so I think, let's just say even a CEO, right? If you're a CEO of a company that does $1 million a year, you're nowhere near as good as a CEO that's in charge of a company that does $1 billion a year. Same job title, same responsibilities. Somebody just plays on a different... So I like being uncomfortable. I really do like that, because I know that's me going through the transition of playing on a different level. And it's not that I'm uncomfortable with how ambitious people are. Sometimes you get caught in your own world and you think you're doing well and you're doing great. And then you meet somebody who's doing way better than you. Yeah, the only way I can say this is you go to the gym and you think you're big, and then somebody twice the size walks in, and you realise that you're not actually a man, and not actually, many times in my life I'm like, feel strong. Somebody will walk in, I'm like, I'm not a man, that's a man, do you know what I mean? And makes you seem like, it makes you realise quite quickly that you're just a small fish in a very big pond. But I want to be a bigger fish in that pond all the time. So I like being uncomfortable. I like doing business or being around people who are more ambitious than me. I don't get more ambitious because I'm competitive. It kind of just inspires me to think a little bit bigger. So no, I love it. Some of the people clients we deal with is funny, because maybe we help their business, but listening to some of the people that we work with sometimes and the way they chat, I learn all the time. Someone done a call last night on Ayub, taught me something I never knew and inspired me to do something different today. Well, it doesn't even have to be people that are doing better or better in main business. Like, I think you learn for everybody, but I enjoy it. I'm still the wee kid that enjoys learning. Still, like when I was 16, I'm like, just show me how to do this. I want to learn something.
You're very excited to tell everyone what you've just learned.
I don't enjoy reading, but I enjoy learning.
I
don't enjoy reading. I think it's ADHD, because sitting in the one place, holding the sentence and reading this book is really, 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 really difficult for me to do. So I don't enjoy the discipline it takes for me to read, but I never regret reading at the end of it, because I come away knowing more stuff. So yeah, I think there's an old saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I want to just keep trying to put myself in rooms where I'm the dumbest person in the room, because that's cool. At some point, like to be in a room with some people that make billions, and realise that I'm not ambitious. That's, again, we've said this before, that's why I got to Dubai. I realised that I'm nothing and I'm nobody, and as much as my mum used to say it when I was a teenager, she says you're a know-all that knows F-all. Because when you're a teenager you think you know everything. She's like, you're a know-all that knows nothing, basically. And so every time I think I know a lot and then get around people who know more, I realise I know nothing.
Yeah.
So,
which is good. I think it's a good position to be in. If what's the saying? If you know the most in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. But it's bittersweet, right? Because when I go hang about with people that are more ambitious or more successful than me, I get two feelings. I get the feeling of belittlement. Maybe I'm belittled. I don't feel like much. So my wife always says, when I go into that,
they don't do that to you, but it's just how you feel.
No, when you realise that you're not as good as you thought you were, or not as ambitious as you thought you were, or not as smart as you thought you were, then it hurts your soul a little bit. So my wife used to say sometimes when I went to seminars, I come back feeling bad about myself. I'm like, I don't feel bad about myself. I just realise that my shit stinks and I have to get better. That's all. That's what going around most successful people does. But on the flip side of things, it's exciting because the other thing I've realised over years about anybody, they're all human.
Yeah. True.
They don't have that you're smarter than me, there you get bigger business, all that stuff, but you're the same as me. You eat, sleep and poo the same way. Like, you're just a person. Like, you just know more than me or do more than me. So if I make a choice to read more books to catch up your level of learning, or take a course and invest in myself, or I decide to go to my bed early, go home later and work a wee bit harder, I can catch up with you. So it's bittersweet. It's like, I'm not good enough and I'm nothing, but I can get there. Because it doesn't matter how successful people are. When you go hang out with these people, you realise they're just normal people. Yeah. And at one point, they knew nothing about the thing they're good at. And the person running the $1 billion company at one point couldn't spell company. So you're like, well, I have a shot too. So it fills you with confidence that, well, I can do it as well. I just have to be willing to do the work.
We had a moment last week, maybe the week before, quite poetic actually. We were just sat in the office talking one day about where we were at and what was happening, and where we wanted to be next year. And we were talking over kind of some goals and things like that, and you were talking about the goals that you written last year, and so you kind of got them up on your phone and you read them all out, and we kind of went through all of them, and you were like, oh yeah, it turned out to be, we were reading it bang on to the day a year from when you first wrote them. That's right. Which I don't think we could have made that up if we tried. 14th. Sorry, October 4th.
Was it? Okay.
So I don't think it's something we could have tried to do. No. But it was, when you were going through the list, from hearing the list, you definitely have only just got started. You've got some really big goals for the companies that you've got. There's some other companies that you want to start over the next kind of couple of years. So what is still to come?
Well, loads of e-commerce businesses. Loads of e-commerce. Love the world. The digital media agency eventually will train other agencies. We'll do a lot of info products online. So from a me point of view and business point of view, once we've got enough social proof of how good we are in things, I have in sales, I've just not got the time. We're going to build a lot of digital products. So it's a great business. It's just really about growing other companies that we have and getting to a certain point. I'm always going to be in sales. I love the digital media world. I love e-commerce. I love coaching people. So it's just about evolving all those. And it's all geared towards eventually having the time and the money to go start a sports charity, which is something that I want to do eventually. I'll explain sports charity to you. It's not a charity where we give sports tickets to people or something. I found a boxing gym when I was 17 years old. Or it was a wee toe rag. I grew up in the north of Glasgow. And I got up to loads of them. Any mischief you can think about a wee toe ragging up to in the north of Glasgow, I got up to it. I bloody wrote the book. And
poster boy.
I was definitely the instigator of my friends. I was never the guy that just tagged along or would like to do it. But anytime I say that to my mate Michael, he's like, "It was all your idea." And I'm like, "It actually was me, mate. It was always my idea to go
led
drinking
them astray.
It was always my idea to do the bad stuff, right?" And I wasn't a follower. I never have been. Never a follower. I was always somebody who'd done what I wanted to do. So I hadn't had done good or bad in my life is because I wanted to do it. No one talked me into doing anything. But anyway, I'm in the parachute regiment. Come out, super fit, fittest I've ever been in my whole entire life. I'm 17. I'm like, I need to keep the fitness up. And somebody says, go to a boxing gym. And so I found a boxing gym, but it was 2 hours away. I stayed in the north of Glasgow and it was actually close to here. It's 2 minutes from here. We're in Brigton doing this. It's from the corner. And I used to have to get into town and then come here, and to get home I used to go back into town and up. So all in all, by the time you wait, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it was just as well, I had the money to do it and I was willing to give up my time to do it, which was 6 hours a week. But I remember even then thinking, I wish where I grew up had somewhere like this for me, because I would have went here every night. Now if I'd went there every night, number one, boxing probably would have been the thing I'd done as a career, maybe for money, who knows. But I couldn't help but think about all the mischief that I wouldn't have got up to if I had somewhere to go. The reason I got up to mischief is because I didn't want to be in the house. You want to go hang about with your mates. And this is a problem in a lot of deprived areas. The kids just have all this. If you think about a kid, right? Especially boys, you're full of this testosterone. Young boys are loaded with naturally growth hormone, testosterone. Young boys are supposed to go up, run, hunt and fight. That's what they do. So what do young boys do at night? They fight.
All the above.
They hunt. They run about. They do crazy things. Why? Because they've all this energy and don't know what to do with it, and just and it's a natural instinct. So I couldn't help to think if you get into a boxing gym or go play sport, you get, and for women as well. I'm just saying boy because it's me, right? Girls as well, right? But boys, especially when they're like growing up, they've all this testosterone and raw energy kicking about, which is why boys are absolutely wild, right? And we are supposed to hunt and all that at a young age and fight. That's just what we're supposed to do. But there was never anything like that up where we grew up. And then it got me thinking over the years about how many people wouldn't have got up to the mischief that we got up to if that was there. How many other people, if they could go have somewhere warm to go every night and go still hang about with their mates, but learn discipline, channel that energy, take that energy out in something positive, right? Be commitment, learn what that, what's teamwork, all this kind of stuff. And then I realised that all these deprived areas had another problem, which is one, nobody's going to put in, but why does nobody open up the gyms in all the deprived areas? Because two, the people that are most deprived don't have money to go. It's not a good business model. I put a gym somewhere where people don't have money, it doesn't, they get your cheap gyms and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I've had this idea for years where we have what if I could have a sports charity that was in deprived areas or in the country, and I'm talking about the UK or whatever country I'm in at the time, and what if that was a boxing place, a UFC place, maybe football, I don't know, I like fighting, so I just think fighting, right? So boxing and UFC, what if you could fund it yourself, and what if kids could come for free? The rules are you have to be serious when you come in the door, but the other rules are you have to go to school. I'm not saying education is the be all and end all, we need a bit of discipline in your life. And the rules are that you can't get in trouble with the police, so it keeps you out of mischief to getting free in the gym. And I'm talking about transport's free, equipment's free. I'd like to feed people when they come in the door. But I think the other thing is my life's turned out really well through the people that I met when I was 23 years old that changed my view on a lot of stuff. That changed my views on a lot of things I thought was just life. And even a lot of people I grew up with now don't have the best lives. And if you look back, they didn't have the coaching and they didn't get their eyes opened up.
Weren't exposed to those people.
You just know what you know, right? You grow up in your own wee bubble. So I'd like to get in where we can give kids somewhere to go every single night, keep them off the streets, something to take all that raw energy out, teach them some discipline, teach them passion, teach them teamwork, and at the same time a wee bit of life coaching, right? So I'd like to do that. I'd like to see myself as an older guy turning up there every night, try to educate young people on how to be a better person. I'm not saying I'm going to tell them to stick in at school and do this, but I'm going to, for me personally, it'd be hypocritical to say stick in at school, right? But just helping people navigate life. Some kids, it's sad to say, don't know how to navigate life because their parents don't know how to navigate life yet. And I'm not doing that to put people down, but there's some poor kids out there who don't even get, and we all know it's not a sob story, there's poor kids there that don't even get fed. So I just love a place when we come with them. They're going to get something to eat, they're going to get training, there's a bunch of people, there's people there to talk to, and there's people there who are there to try and add some value to their life every single night. So that would be nice to be able to do that one day. It's been a dream. It's been something I thought about for many, many years, but I see myself as an old guy doing that, being a qualified coach and just letting people come in and maybe something that we can do in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Glasgow first, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Glasgow first. Nowadays, though, even though I say that, there is a lot of gyms nowadays, fighting gyms for people to go to and a lot of different areas. But again, they'll cost money.
Yeah. I think you also don't realise how much of an impact that would have on people's lives and how much of an impact that could change. That, like you said, you met people in your life that kind of changed the whole path that you went on, and that could do the same for so even if you did that for one person, that's incredible. Never mind how many people it could affect.
Yeah. I've changed, my views in life changed dramatically when I got outside my wee bubble. I did. A lot of people I grew up with don't like that. I've went through changes or think maybe it's an act or whatever. I got exposed to people that weren't in my bubble.
On the flip, there is also a lot of people, especially in the last 3 months, that you've heard of via other people from your old life who are very proud of you and are really do admire the changes
So
that
glad.
you've made. It's really good to always kind of give back.
That is my wee. I hate saying that 'cause it sounds cheesy, but that's been one wee way as an old guy to try
give
and
back.
stop someone going down a bad path.
Yeah. So big goals, lots of stuff you want to be achieving. You've got lots of stuff to get done in the near
why I need the
future.
energy.
Yeah. Hence why Beyond Human is so important. But when will you feel like it's enough? When will you feel like, okay, done, completed it?
I don't know, man.
Will the list ever end?
Nah. I'll always do something. Well, I'll always get up out of my bed and have to be in an office or have to be in a building at a certain time. Not a shot. In the next 5 years of my life, I'll put myself in a position where I don't have to be anywhere. It's the beauty of the digital world, right? The beauty of, even from a sales point of view, and to be a position where 100% of my role is just coaching other people in sales, and I don't physically have to be with them all the time. So I'll always do something, but I don't know. All right, let's just go back to what we're talking about boys and girls. And let's talk about Beyond Human again, right? To be just human in general is to get up and do stuff and get shit done. Like, think about when people start dying when they stop doing stuff. So I just know you stop, you drop. Because if you research human biology and you look at the psychology of us, and our bodies are still hundreds of thousand years, and human beings in general, we're supposed to get up and move. We're supposed to pursue things. We're supposed to challenge yourself. And as long as we're doing that, and if you look at all these blue zones in the world, there's common denominators is people still get up and have purpose every day. They still get up and socialise every day. They still do physical activities every day. So by doing that stuff, you're telling your body that you're still a human being and you should still exist. When you stop doing all that stuff, your body goes, well, is it time to die? Because we're not being human anymore. So understanding that, I'm petrified to not do anything. I'm petrified to wake up without a purpose. That purpose might just be going to the gym. Purpose might just be getting up and doing a call or one call. I'm not saying work all day, every day, forever, right? But there's if you look at it, there's a guy called Andrew Huberman, and if you go on and watch him, he spoke not that long ago, and he was talking about if you get up in the morning and you have a goal and you attack that goal or that purpose with everything you've got and you do it with a good attitude, your body turns cholesterol into testosterone and dopamine. So by getting up every morning with something to aim for actually gives you energy. So what happens when, let's think about cholesterol, it turns cholesterol into energy, not cortisol. It turns, cholesterol can either get into cortisol. Now, I'm not medically trained, by the way, so if you want to tell me I'm wrong, that's fine. But he says, and quote, your body takes cholesterol, we've all been told we're bad, and there's got two options what to do. It can turn into cortisol, which is like stress and tiredness, or it can turn into like testosterone and dopamine. How you wake up and what you do in the morning determines what it does and takes that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, where are we putting this? Do we put it into good energy or do we put it into bad energy? So understanding how that works as well petrifies me to wake up in the morning without any purpose. I'm not saying I won't wake up every day, some days and just go, I just want to laze about. Even that's purpose. My purpose today is just to relax and get some energy back, right? But the idea of not having any purpose and the idea of not having any accomplishment, the idea of not doing the things I enjoy every day, like go to the gym, helping people, driving, building businesses, just makes me think that that's just, if I gave up my body, I'll get up straight after it.
Yeah.
That's right. I might change my views when I'm 60.
I have a feeling you won't.
My wife also told me if I ever retire, she'll divorce me. Literally says to me 2 weeks after I was married to her, if you ever retire, we will get divorced because I'm an absolute nightmare when I've nothing to do.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So we'll see how I feel. Right now, I don't. Retirement or stopping or having enough. And it's not enough money. It's not even the monetary value. You can always make more money. I just think I enjoy the game. So when I stop enjoying the game, maybe it'll be enough. But I don't know why I would stop enjoying the game, because every time you level up in the game of life or in the game of business or in the game of health, you feel better. So,
and always just play a different game. If you don't like this business, try a different game, try a different business.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I mean, again, might be 60 and depleted and tired and, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? At this moment in time, I don't think enough will ever be enough. Do you know what I mean? If you can get a business to... I watched this interesting thing, actually. I forget the guy's name, but he was talking about how £20 million is a nice number for people to get to, right? But he was talking about, I can't remember the conversation, it's not a podcast. And he was saying how to get £20 million, pounds not dollars, actually, was a British guy. He says people that get £20 million have got enough money to live an unbelievable life the rest of their life, right? And pass some wealth down to their kids and whatever. But not enough money where they're on everybody's radar. He says you get past that, you start to go on radars and people start to know who you are and blah, blah, blah. And he says, but the problem is the people who get to 20 million can't stop. Is that's a problem? No one ever stops at 20 and just disappears.
No.
Because they can't. But do you need more than 20? Probably not. But what you realise there is the people that get to that point understand, like, they enjoy the game, they enjoy the buzz, they enjoy the challenge, they enjoy the negativity a little bit, they enjoy the lessons, they enjoy the buzz they get for success. Because when people get to that point, they go, well, if I can do 20, I can do 100. And somebody that gets 100 goes, well, if I can do 100, I can do a bill. And somebody gets the bill, go, if I do one, I can do 10, and so on and so forth. So I think if you're somebody who likes sport, same idea. If you're somebody who enjoys business, when are you not going to?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I have a feeling you won't be stopping anytime soon.
As long as physically I can still do it, hence why beyond tuning and the health stuff is I want to physically still be able to get up and give it some if I want to.
No, I think you'll be doing things for a long time to come. But I think that's been great. I hope it's given people a chance to get to know you. And as I said, I think all these episodes up until now have been very focused around your career in sales and all that sort of stuff. But we're hoping from this, people can get to know you a little bit more, get to know all the other areas that you're in, and going forward, it will just be very much entrepreneurship in general, not specifically just sales. Yes, we'll probably do some sales episodes here and there. We're not, sales was your first love, so we'll definitely still do sales stuff, but we're not gonna.
Sales is my baby.
Yeah, we're not gonna just pigeonhole ourselves to that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll come back maybe in a year's time. We'll do another one, see where you're at, see what you've done in the last year. We'll do that. We'll make this like a yearly review.
In the fish factory, failed miserably. Back to my old.
None of these businesses will be open.
Yeah, McDonald's again. That's where we'll be on the booze.
But we'll come back in a year and see where you're at there and where you want to go from there.
Hopefully, we'll get some good stories to tell.
That we shall. We'll make sure that's the case. But thank you. Anything you want to add on that?
No, it's a wrap.